Pinball has always been popular in video games, but there's one console that you may not know actually had quite a few pinball games, and that is the Sega Saturn. So let's sit back and take a look at all the pinball games you can get for your Sega Saturn. So we're going to be taking a look at these in chronological order. I'm going to be ranking each game in presentation, the number of tables they have, audio and playability. So let's start off with Digital Pinball Last Gladiators. First released in Japan June 23rd, 1995. Developed by Kaze. Number of tables? 4. For the first entry into Saturn pinball tables, I don't want to rate the first game highly, but you have to give credit where credit is due. The presentation in Last Gladiators is fantastic. The whole game reeks of gothic atmosphere, with some amazing high resolution visuals throughout. Yes, that's right, this and many of the pinball games on the Saturn run at the high resolution of 704 by 480. This is interlaced, mind you, but the Saturn can also do 704 by 240 progressive. Still, even though this is interlaced, we get a fantastically clear image which complements the table artwork very well. While there is no traditional back panel display in Last Gladiators, we do get them overlaid onto the screen. This may get in the way while watching this video, but in actual gameplay, they really don't. Audio is strong within Last Gladiator. Loads of pinball sound effects and fantastic music score that changes depending on the table status and always gets you hyped. Playability? The ball moves fluidly and there's zero slowdown. The ball physics also seem quite realistic for the most part. It's just a shame there is no up nudge, only left and right nudges. Still, I do find this very fun to play. Okay, next up is Fantastic Pinball Q Tenkai, released only in Japan on August 25th, 1995 and developed by Technosoft. Number of tables? Just 1. Fantastic Pinball Q Tenkai is based more within the fantasy realm of things, so we can't expect it to give a true pinball presentation, but what is here works well. The graphics are colourful with plenty of graphical effects added to them. Sadly, there is only one main table, but it does have an upper, mid and lower portion with plenty of bonuses to trigger. There are also bonus mini rooms, which in turn are mini tables themselves. It's just a shame that the loading to go to and from these sections is ridiculously long. So long, I thought the game had crashed. The music is fine, but all the sound effects are quite low in sample quality, giving the game a very muffled sound. There are a choice of 2 ball speeds, fast or slow. I'm playing with the fast option here, however you wouldn't think so, as it's still quite sluggish. The ball physics are also quite a letdown, especially after Technosoft's conversion of Devil Crash to the Mega Drive. I have played worse, but this most definitely does not feel like pinball. True Pinball, first released in Japan April 5th, 1996. Developed by Digital Illusions. Number of tables? 4. True Pinball is the first pinball game on the Saturn by Western developers, and it just happens to be an update of a game that first started life on the Amiga as Pinball Illusions. This Saturn version can display the tables in either standard resolution 2D or 3D, but also gives an option of a 704 by 480 high resolution mode, just like Kaze's Last Gladiator. However, in this game, you can notice the interlacing on the ball as it moves around the table. The actual tables don't look so sharp no matter what mode you're playing in, which is a great shame as the lighting on the tables is done very well. We do get a dot matrix display at the top of the screen, which could do with being a bit brighter at times, but for what it is, it's functional. The music is generally average at best, but I do like the sound effects of the table. Nothing really stands out, but it does serve its purpose. Either in 2D mode or 3D mode, the ball physics feel very nice in this game. The momentum as it travels up the board feels just right. The nudging of the table also seems to impact the ball as you'd expect. The actual tables are pretty much the same, mind you, so there's not too much variety when it comes down to actual gameplay. Pinball Graffiti, first released in Japan July 12, 1996. Developed by Pack-In Video. Number of tables? 3. Pinball Graffiti is a very interesting game, in that it's the only pinball game to be actually truthful when it says it has 3D tables. Yep, the pinball tables in this game are fully 3D modelled. This is great, but also not so. The game only runs at 30 frames per second, but you can view the table from any imaginable position. There's absolutely no limit. Ever wanted to see what the ball actually sees? Well, you can do that in Pinball Graffiti. Sadly, the game runs in a low resolution, so all the artwork is rather chunky. The game also has a story mode in order to give the 3 tables some sort of substance. This is completely lost on non-Japanese speakers, mind you. The audio in this game is pretty weak. Truly pissball pinball table sounds, cheesy music, and Japanese katakana English throughout. Due to the 30 frames per second, the gameplay really suffers in this game. You can get used to it, but you wouldn't really want to when the tables are so boring to play on. Hyper 3D Pinball, first released in the US October 31st, 1996. Developed by NMS Software. Number of tables? 6. No flash video intros for NMS's Hyper 3D Pinball, but it does run in the Saturn's high resolution mode and contains a whopping 6 tables. The menu system isn't too much to look at, but the actual table presentations are beautiful. Each of the 6 tables are vivid and full of traps, bonus opportunities, ramps and hidden secrets. There's so much going on. Plus we can view the tables in either standard 2D high resolution mode or 3D high resolution mode. There is one point of the presentation that I don't like, and that is the use of pre-rendered 3D videos that appear when certain triggers are set on the table. These kind of detract from the fluidity of the game. Thankfully, they don't happen too often. Every table has its own unique sound, unlike all the other pinball games so far. Sure, they all have individual music, but Hyper 3D Pinball goes beyond that, with bespoke sound effects for everything. Hyper 3D Pinball plays like a dream. Fluid 60 frames per second no matter which mode you're playing in. I also think the ball physics are the best so far, resulting in a fast and accurate pinball experience. Oh, and let's not forget the multiple nudge options available. Digital Pinball Necronomicon, only released in Japan on November 15, 1996, developed by Kaze. Number of tables? 3. Kaze have tried to replicate the style and feel of the first Saturn pinball game, The Last Gladiator, but they have just not gotten it right. The name of the game would make you feel that this is going to be some sort of dark gothic type of pinball game, but in reality, the original is more like that. The pinball tables aren't even as appealing in my opinion. Yes, we still get beautiful high resolution visuals, but the layout seems pretty lame and even obtrusive in some cases. Just like the first game, the audio is very strong within the Necronomicon, maybe even better than the original. Fantastic voiceovers and fitting music really do get you pumped. Basic ball mechanics are identical to The Last Gladiator, but due to the table layouts in this game, I find it more frustrating to play due to some instances of losing track of where my ball has gone.
You are beyond the wall of sin.
Pro Pinball The Web, first released in the US November 30th, 1996, developed by Cunning Development. Number of tables? Just 1. The title art style is very cheap looking. It looks like some airbrushed crappy US NES game box cover. Still, everything is presented in high resolution, plus the addition of the detailed renders of the table are welcome. Talking of the table, well, as you know, there's only one, and you don't get much in the way of viewing options either. All viewing options are either isometric views with slightly changes in the tilt angle, with or without a matrix display. Talking of which, that's very well done. I wonder if it's based upon a real table. The audio has loads of great pinball sound effects that sound as if they're sampled from a real table. The speech samples are rather low in quality, mind you, and the music is kind of there but not really noticeable. Now the playability is where Pro Pinball The Web shines. This plays extremely well, although a little fiddly at first until you figure out the nudging. I also love how the table incorporates real pinball tricks, such as having magnets under the playfield in order to hold the ball. Very nice. It really is just a shame that there isn't more screen viewing options, as it can be a little tricky to see what's going on at the top of the table. Digital Pinball The Last Gladiators version 9.7. Only released in Japan on September 11th, 1997. Developed by Kaze. Well, we'll end with the same game that we started off with. It's basically just the same game as the first game, but with a little bit of cleaning up in the playability department. Probably nothing that the average player would even notice. The only real major changes are the modified introduction and the inclusion of a Necronomicon demo that we've already covered.
Pick that.
So, which is the best pinball game on the Saturn? Well, in my opinion, using the ranking scores I've designated, it goes like this. At number 6, it's Pinball Graffiti with 15 points. Number 5, Fantastic Pinball Q Tenkai with 19 points. Number 4, Digital Pinball Necronomicon with 22 points. And number 3, Pro Pinball The Web with 23 points. Also, joint number 3 position is Tech Q True Pinball, also with 23 points. Number 2 sees Digital Pinball The Last Gladiators with 27 points, and at number 1, Hyper 3D Pinball with a whopping 32 points. So there you have it, that's all the pinball games officially released on the Sega Saturn. Which one are you going to try?